Legal issues make tariff problems look like small potatoes. Data, AI, privacy, compliance, insurance, repairs, loans, fraud. Are there 50 ways to sue a dealer? Todd Smith of Core AI and Tom Kline of Better Vantage Point, that's right, the AI and the octopus guy, are here to talk 50 ways to sue the dealer. Welcome to the Neutral Zone, everyone, on ATI Auto Business. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to ATI Auto Business, automotive ecosystem, where everyone learns more, well, some people do, about the automotive industry. Let's get started with some top industry news and headlines that include, I didn't update it. Okay. Well, I tell you what we've got going on. We've got China has called the USA peasants, which is funny because I don't remember Americans worrying about being called a peasant. We're going to go into show 393, 50 ways to sue the dealership. We've got Todd Smith, AI. He's the CEO of Core AI. He's an AI data guy. And he's been on the show before. We're really lucky to have him back. Tom Kline of Better Vantage Point. He's your compliance and risk mitigation guy. And he's been on the show before, Dealership Lawsuit 101. So, and, David Katz can't join us. I'm sorry David can't make it. He has got something that's keeping him busy tonight. But we're gonna move forward with, we got FTC, compliant, lawsuit, PR, nightmare, options. When's the best time to fix a risk issue? Compliance fines don't come with warnings. I know, this is super exciting stuff, right? But that's why Tom Kline wrote the book, Tuck the Octopus. Because you got to cover yourself on those compliance issues. Or you could just wait until, roll the dice. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Get to know your ecosystem. New, used, OEM, dealer, auction, logistics. I keep on saying it. I'm not sure if anybody... I don't know if we just skip the slide, Jay. Nobody's doing that. Ecosystems neutral zone we are. Because we're going to talk a little bit about, is there really fake news in automotive? That can't be right. Hey, the golden age is here. It's the golden age. And widespread layoffs due to factors like shifts towards EVs, tariffs, overall market demand fluctuations. OEMs like GM, Ford, Stellantis have announced job cuts in both their manufacturing and salary positions. It's the golden age. The senator said so. On Tuesday nights, I have the automotive ecosystem. I know it's not for everybody. It can't be. There's no way. Otherwise, everybody would be here. We have the ROI marketing calculator. And I know there are marketing departments do not want to use this calculator. Actually, it might be upper management. I'm not sure. On Thursdays, industry logistics is where we talk about logistics. Did you see this happened? There are fines for truckers that can't speak English. We're going to talk about that Thursday. All right, let's do some news. Really going crazy. Hey, Mark, it's me and you, buddy. All right, cool. Oh, I don't have the bell. Come on, man. Gotta give the bell to Mark. All right. So if you look at the news, tariffs, right? Okay. But peasants. China is called USA peasants. I think that's awesome. Boy, we're in just different time zones. A senior Chinese official warned Tuesday that President Donald Trump's tariffs would backfire and that soon those peasants in the U.S. would wail in front of the 5,000 years of Chinese civilization. Then again, we've only been around for a couple hundred years. Maybe peasants is like a really big, it's awful to be called a peasant. Xi called the U.S. decision to levy a tariff of 145% on all goods from Hong Kong brutally unreasonable and extremely shameless. also known as the president. Whatever. China has countered Washington's latest levies by imposing a tariff of 125% on all U.S. goods, while Trump has maintained 145% taxes on. Why stop at 145? That's weak. That's so Joe Biden. This was a week ago. Now it was a week ago. It was a lack of respect. Now it's peasantry. They are coming for everyone. How China has amped up its factories is threatening to crush U.S. industry with a new tsunami of cheap products. Isn't that great? Can't wait to watch those infomercials coming soon. And you know that Elon stepped down from Doge? But he cut $1 trillion. Oh, come on, man. What do you expect? Wouldn't you step down after $1 trillion? Okay. 2 weeks ago, this was what we had. 25%, 25%, 25%. We weren't even in the hundreds. A week ago, then we got a pause. That's when we went into the hundreds. So wait, everybody else has paused? But it's all, we scooted all the risk pieces into China. Tariffs force, this is where we are now. Tariffs force multiple automakers to pause U.S. shipments. You got Lotus, Jaguar, Land Rover, VW, Audi, all confirmed they're pausing shipments over tariffs. Audi's holding all vehicles delivered to U.S. ports after April 2nd. Audi plans to hold all vehicles assembled in Mexico and overseas delivered to U.S. ports. Just keep them at the port. Wow. What's that strategy look like? Each Audi sold in the U.S. is imported from either Mexico or Europe. The brand's U.S. bestseller Q5 midsize crossover built in Mexico, but is not compliant with the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, which complicates the situation for the automaker. The new tariff is in addition to other duties. That means non-USA, USMCA compliant vehicles from Canada and Mexico could be hit with a 50% tariff. I don't know how you do all these calculations. Audi's marketing team will issue a tariff toolkit. That's how you... Did you get your tariff toolkit? Did it come with liquor? Early next week to support dealers with short-term messages and strategies to promote current inventory. And a bottle of James. Why would an automaker refuse to pick up its own products from the ports? Because they don't want to pay a tariff until they process the car into the port facility. Now, the fees for holding cars in the ports are high, but, you won't have to pay the tariff. In fact, the tariff impact is like the 2008 financial crisis, COVID, and chip shortage combined. This was said today by major parts supplier Magna. Supplier dispute threatens to halt production of some of GM's most profitable trucks. Pricing dispute between two suppliers is threatening to shut down production of GM at a time of precarious automotive supply chain issues. South Korean tie rod manufacturer Primax has stopped deliveries to Nexteer, a steering column supplier for the Chevy Silverado, Tahoe Suburban, as well as Sierra, Yukon, Escalade. The result, this is just one example. The result is that production of these profit-rich pickups and full-size SUVs could grind to a halt this week. I love that you guys voted for them. That's so cool. At issue is pricing and raw material cost increases. Tariffs are not called out in this lawsuit. 25. Think of that. You're filing a lawsuit? Oh my gosh. Trump floats exceptions for auto parts facing 25% U.S. tariffs. This is great. I can't wait for the punchline. Automakers are reeling from duties on car and light truck imports. Here's what he said. I'm looking at something to help car companies with it. They're switching to parts that were made in Canada, Mexico, and other places, and they need a little bit of time because they're going to make them here. He said they're going to make the parts here. Yeah, man. Flip a switch. You walk into a room, you flip a switch, and suddenly you're making parts in a different country. Yeah, dude. Anyways, updated auto tariff analysis cost to consumers. Tariffs expected to cost an additional $2,500 to $5,000. Those are on low tariff cars. Could reach up to $20,000 for some high import models. But if you're in the club, who cares what it costs? Tariffs announced Wednesday. This was April. This is 2 weeks ago. Again, craziness. Well, at least we're above Japan. So that's call that a win. All right, let's do some fake news. I'm going to hit a drum. I'm going to give you some fake news. Just me and you, Mark. All right, here we go. Fake news. Now, I don't know about you, but this headline to me implies that auto transport rates have jumped. Have they? Have auto transport rates jumped? Do you see this? You do not adjust your television. Auto transport rates jump. All right. But I get it. Mercedes-Benz reports best ever sales. This was reported 5 days ago. Now, there's no context because everybody's scared shitless over tariffs. That's not in the headline. Last month was the best March since 2021 for auction sales. Because everyone's shit. EV sales see double-digit growth. Wow. Wow. I mean, when you have lack of context, you can sell anything. There's a sale at Penny's. Okay. Now, I realize they were referencing, don't worry, I'll help you. Here's your context. There was a report released, best report ever, with some key insights. And it's good to know some key insights. I thought the best takeaway was that SUVs were the most common transported vehicle. But then again, I'm not real surprised. Now, I saw this. I don't remember where. I'm trying to forget where. Again, auto transport rates jump. No. No. Let me tell you what really happened. The following chart shows the year-over-year carrier pay changes with an overlay of forecasts. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Carrier capacity is pushed out. Carriers are going out of business. I did not create this. But that's how you know it's true. The prediction is if enough carriers go out of business, carrier rates will go up. I repeat, if enough carriers go out of business, that's literally how rates will go up. And then the market will recover as new carriers, those new carriers go bankrupt as the previous carriers went bankrupt. And there's your cycle. Here's a real news story. $200,000 Ferrari stolen by rogue shipper. Here we go. This is real news. A $218,000 Ferrari Roma disappeared on its way from a Bentley dealership in Colorado to a Ferrari store in Minneapolis. The car was reportedly picked up by an imposter carrier, which happens pretty much weekly. Now, Twin Cities Performance of Golden Valley, Minnesota, and its parent dealership, Lithia, are suing the seller and the auto transport company to recoup the purchase price and other damages. Here's what happened. This is according to an April 4th federal court complaint. This just happened. There's already a complaint. It's already a big deal. This is one. There's at least one a week of these now. But that's not the headline. Auto transport rates are through the roof. That's the headline. Twin Cities Performance bought the Roma from Bentley Denver in November, arranged transport, and the broker dispatched an imposter carrier through the online central dispatch platform that lets carriers and shippers self-manage their vehicle transportation, and selected a fraudulent carrier account named, this is in the complaint, I'm not making it up, I'm reading it. Don't send me a letter. The imposter picked up the car, verifying they were the real company. This is easily done. Easy. Neither defendant filed a police report. Make matters worse, they didn't inform the company that the car had been stolen until nearly a week after the theft. Twin Cities Performance reported the theft to police in Colorado, the complaint said, and reported the fraud to Central Dispatch. I did listen to, there was a podcast, and it was Central Dispatch talking about the fraud, and they're working on stuff. But can anyone explain why someone would swap out their company name and DOT number with a different one? Are you saying this is happening all the time? This is so happening. They're changing their cab card like they're changing their shirt. Anyways, Lucid Motors wins the bankruptcy auction for Nicola's Arizona factory. Because that is where, if you want to make money, stand on the shoulders of somebody's loss. You got a Trump tariff chart. It is tax day, everybody. We might tonight talk about auto franchise laws. We might address complaints about the F&I office before they turn to social media. And did you know that a salesperson was intoxicated, untrained on a test drive policy before customer's fatal crash? All coming up tonight. We might even talk about the 1975 Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act to help protect buyers against deceptive warranty practices. There's a 1985 used car rule, according to the FTC, requires car dealers to display a window sticker known as a buyer's guide on used cars they offer for sale. ATI is where everyone, well, some people, learn more about how the auto industry really works. New, used, OEM dealer auction logistics, and more. I don't ship cars, I move information. Sometimes. That's why I have a podcast. Boy, oh boy, are there great new podcasts all the time. ATI Auto Business, contact me. You can go through ATIAutobusiness.com. Cue the music. "50 Ways." Here we go. "The problem's inside the dealer's head," she said to me. "They're breaching contracts and breaking rules blatantly. We'd like to help you hold them accountable. You see, there must be 50 ways to sue the dealer." She said, "It's not my job to stir up legal strife, but they're mishandling your data, and that's your private life. So let me walk you through the red flags. Go ahead and call your wife. There must be 50 ways to sue the dealer. 50 ways to sue the dealer. Just cite the car's rule, fool. Point out the fraud, Maud. Crash on the test, Ed. Just listen to me. That loan is bad, Brad. The odometer's wrong, John. It's just a lemon, Kevin. You call the FTC. They misquoted the rate, Kate. Breach of consent, Trent. Non-compliant, Ryan. Document that proof. No disclosure, Grover. The whole sales game is over. Just call up the state, Kate, and they'll call the FTC. Thanks so much for sticking around for tonight's show. We got a great show. We're going to do 50 ways to sue the dealer. So stick around. We'll be back right after this. Swing the bat. Stick around.
Understanding web traffic at your site can be a funny thing. Who, when, why? Then you have things like bounce rates, visit times, return traffic. The point is, you have traffic, but are you capitalizing on all that traffic and why they came to your site to begin with? You may do moving, vehicle inspections, car auctions, custom car building, car clubbing. Quotify is the first online shipping utility feature that helps you to retain the relevant traffic and capture business which is typically just sent away. It instantly allows your visitors to see multiple shipping companies' rates and live reviews with an option to book the shipment now or email it for later. If you have car shipping relevant traffic, then why not swing the bat and make some money along with some other added benefits? The best part of Quotify is that it's free. Yes, that's right. We actually pay you to offer your visitors something they most likely need anyways. So let's wrap this up. It's a totally free utility feature that will increase your site visit times, lower your bounce rates, increase return rates, and we even pay you to use it. Sounds too good to be true. It's not. Sign up today or call now to speak with a commercial account specialist.
Have my new light.
Don't lose any more sleep worrying about missing leads. Tom and Todd are with me. Here we go. Let's just go ahead and jump right in.
Yeah.
You got your new light, right?
Absolutely. Bright as I can be, even though
Bright
it's
as you can be. Where are you right now?
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah, Georgia. That's Tom Kline, Better Vantage Point. Todd, please say hello.
Hello. How are we doing today?
Hey,
Todd? Todd, where are you?
Orlando. I'm home.
Oh, you're home. All right, cool. All right, so 1 out of 3 of us is traveling.
Yes.
That's not bad.
It's always Tom. I vote Tom travels more than me. So,
all right. So let's just jump into it. Okay, 50 ways to sue a dealer or 8 sticky topics in auto retail.
Are we supposed to take I'll take 8 sticky topics for 100, Jay?
Right, exactly. You can take the category and win money and prizes.
okay.
Okay, sticky topics for the octopus. Ways to sue the dealer for relatability. Right? Because which one's going to get your attention?
Probably the 50 ways to sue a dealer, right?
Are there 50 ways?
I'm sure there are.
Oh, I'm sure there's possible 50 ways. So.
All right. That's fair. By the way, it's too bad that David couldn't join us tonight. I know that he's got something he's got to work on.
I should have reached out to Samani, Tom. I totally forgot.
I did.
Oh,
you did?
Michael Samani, right.
He couldn't make it.
Yeah. Well, attorneys they're booked, you know? All right. So for anyone that doesn't know who you are, let's go back. Tom, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tom Kline. I am a former dealer for 30 years. Also a third-generation car guy. My family's been in the car business 100 years as of this year, which is unbelievable to me also.
Yeah.
After we sold our stores in 2019, I opened my consulting business, which is Better Vantage Point. And what I do at Better Vantage Point, I've turned into an analogy, which is running a dealership is like trying to tuck an octopus into bed, but the tentacles keep flopping all over the place, right? And so my job is to tuck those tentacles in, help the dealer sleep well at night, and I do that through managing risk and compliance. So that's the 30-second version of what I do.
And I want to say the octopus is such a great idea. That analogy's awesome. Yeah. We should all have something that visually relevant to what it is that we do.
I wish he had his sport coat on with the octopuses on it. And he had multiple versions of the sports coat at NADA. Every time I saw Tom, he had a different, completely octopus-driven sports coat. So I started to get a little jealous. I needed, my little Q all over on my sports coat or something. But
I totally agree with that. We're going to get into, I'm going to ask you about some of your speaking engagement recently, but Todd, please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Yep, my name's Todd Smith. I've been in the business for, 30, almost 5 years. I grew up selling cars, running stores, had a Chevy store in New Jersey, built a couple tech companies, and most recently I'm working on, I would call it my happiest tech adventure, which is Core AI, which is focused on aggregating all the dealers' messy data into a spot that the dealership owns that they can actually leverage AI and additional insights. So,
I on AI, I just looked at, is it No. What's the Chat GPT?
OpenAI.
Is it open? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's one now where you can do visuals. My point is this: it is now difficult to keep up with AI evolutions for the. I mean, as an average person.
Yep. And no, you won't at this
Right.
point. Yeah. So it's probably 3 weeks is kind of the cycling of tech at this point. So I don't see, and I don't see it slowing down. I only am seeing it speed up.
Today, Jay, I saw a post on LinkedIn that said you can put a topic in to a particular, I think it's called Gamma. Todd, you may know about Gamma.
Yeah, Gamma is a presentation tool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I actually have it open. I've been playing with it for the legal conference I'm speaking at next month. So
Okay, well, I'll see you there.
yes,
Wow.
so we'll have dinner.
And I will have my Octopus sport coats.
I am sure you will. So
Yes.
I can't wait.
So what-
but Jay, Gamma AI,
Yeah.
you can drop, as I understand it. I haven't played with it. Todd can explain more, but you can type a topic and how many slides you want, and it will do the whole thing. It'll do the whole slideshow for you.
Yeah, you basically build a prompt and tell it what it is. You can give it the details for the slides, right? Like, hey, you go to ChatGPT, you could say, create me 10 slide deck, what words we're going to put on it, headlines, whatever it is, and then go to Gamma and say, build it, and it'll build it for you, including imagery and everything else. So it's, look,
What?
all these things are, I still think, nascent. Like, they're still very early. But gosh, the productivity increase is enormous. So I think, like, for me, I just look at things, what tools can I use to 10x myself this year to be more efficient? Like, one is this one. Have you ever see Limitless?
Yes.
Okay, so I got a little chain. Boom, I can turn this thing on. It'll record our whole conversation. So it can record everything. So your phone calls, everything else. And then you can put it in and say, how did I do? Did I do good, bad? Just like anything. Like, forget like recording a formal Zoom call. You can just have complete recording on the go and analyze the data. So like, here is a tool to just map efficiency, never forget something, and just operate, you know, at a, what I consider a higher, more efficient level all the time.
Wow.
Wait, what? That thing?
Yeah. If I turn it on,
How do you turn it on?
Yeah, it just has a little thing on the side, man. It'll turn green or that lit. Okay,
Hey,
so
Jay,
it's recording now, right?
Maybe we should leave it on for the show, and at the end,
Yeah,
we ask-
leave it on.
Yeah. So
at
it's
the end, we'll ask
yeah.
the AI how we did.
Yeah, so it's recording now. It's actually what it'll say is the pendant is listening. It's in listen mode right now. And as we're talking, it's going to start grabbing all that data and it'll catch up. So I can just leave this anywhere, have, you know, like, I don't know about you guys, but I have moments in my life where I say something and it's actually a very good thought. And within like 3 minutes, I forgot the thought. And I'm like, I know I talked about it like this and it made a lot of sense. And then I have a hard time getting back to that. So I think tools like this are enabling us to capture all those moments. And I look at it like in automotive, like I still think there's going to be a time very soon where a dealership brain is formed, where all the institutional knowledge is captured, whether it's meetings with vendors, whether it's internal meetings, whether it's employee feedback, all this is going to be captured on these LLMs. Because to me, this, what I consider specialized knowledge, is the final frontier, because about 99% of all consumer knowledge has been consumed via the web on LLMs. But what hasn't been consumed is our personal knowledge, experiences, and businesses. So only about 1% of that stuff has been calculated. So I think there's going to be an exciting time where we're able to take all that institutional knowledge. So, you know, like every time a customer or every time a salesperson goes to the parking lot and leaves, tribal knowledge leaves the building. So what happens if you have everybody's knowledge always available? Now, obviously, Tom will bring up 400 legal problems to deal with that easily, right? Because, you know, the sales manager who yells at somebody or calls them a very derogatory term, that they can be sued. But there's some masking you can do around that as well. So I think there's definitely a future that we can capture a lot of this.
I want to tell you a couple things going through my mind right now. By the way, I want to make sure I got this right. Is this the Gamma?
No, it's called Limitless.ai.
Okay, but that's the one you're wearing. But
yes,
Tom said Gamma, right?
Oh, Gamma, yeah, Gamma. Yes, it's
So
Gamma
this-
AI presentation. That's a sponsor one. They're grabbing their keywords. So go back. There's another one called Gamma. Down. There it is.
Oh,
No, go down.
I've
It's
been
Gamma
tricked by
app.
this deal.
Yeah, I know you got tricked. It's
Oh
Google
my
tricking
God.
you because
Is this
everything
the right
is
Gamma?
sponsored.
Is this the right Gamma?
Yes, so that's
Okay.
Gamma.
So, okay, so, and this, part of my point here right now, and then the other one is Limitless, which is that's what we're being listened
Yeah.
to on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm not one to go starting new podcasts, names, and all this, but I want to say this because I just saw right before going live tonight, there's another new podcast that I don't even know why I would tune in. And I'm thinking, man, if you're going to make a new podcast right now, make it about AI. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't need more leadership, and I don't need more whatever, family, kumbaya. The AI is out of control.
Yeah.
Todd's
Well-
your guy, Jay.
I
No,
know.
and listen, it's integrating everything we do, right? And you can't look at AI, it's not a product. You look at it as a species. It's going to infiltrate everything of what we do.
Well, it's like you can have it's like you can have Wi-Fi on your refrigerator because everybody needs Wi-Fi on your refrigerator or Wi-Fi on your washing machine.
Yeah, because I want to check the load of laundry remotely while I'm in, Barbados surfing, and I just got to check to see if my clothes are clean at home.
Well, actually, there's talk about AI, Jay, and we're getting way off the topic, but this is a great one. I want everybody to know that there is now an AI integrated refrigerator. My wife told me about this, that has cameras inside the refrigerator that you can say, tell me what I can make from the ingredients inside my refrigerator, and it will figure out what you can make as a result of that. So anybody who has meal plan problems, there you go. There's a refrigerator out there for you.
That is crazy. So
All right, so I'm glad we got that out of the way. Tom, you were speaking at you were at Business Bourbon and Cigars,
I was.
Auto Intel Summit.
Todd was at Auto Intel.
Todd was at
I had a conflict.
So Bourbon and Cigars, Auto Intel Summit, and then NADA.
We were both there.
we're both
Okay.
there. Yeah.
What are y'all talking about? What's been going on? Recap us on the last 90 days.
All you, Tom?
NADA. There was ice. There was snow. There were lots of stories.
No weather.
Yeah.
I know about Snola or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, but what happened there? I mean, what's a recap that's relevant to now? Is there one? I mean, that was 90 days ago.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. 90 days ago, everyone was happy the industry, margins were coming down, AI is a big topic, and then we have tariff land. And now you have a complete shift in everybody's thinking because I don't know, Tom, I don't know what you think. I look at it as the 2008 financial crisis impacts COVID with a chip shortage. It's kind of like if that perfect storm existed today, that's what we're living in. Because we have higher interest rates, far higher than they've been in a while, that makes a lot of things unaffordable. Now we have the OEMs going, we don't have a lot of inventory, so we're not going to put our incentives out. So you saw the price of vehicles shot over $50,000 this week, average across the board. So unaffordability is only increasing. So you'd say that drives people to used, but obviously you're going to pay a lot more money on used rate. So I think we have a lot of challenges. I think we came out of NADA. Everyone was probably pretty pumped, and we hit like a mega storm.
So, which is ironic because of the storm. This is actually one of the things that it seemed like a lot of hype. We didn't know this. We didn't know we were going to be in a tsunami. But we did know. We knew better than to say, oh yeah, February is going to go as planned. We did know that. Didn't we?
Yeah, listen, February was a good month in most cases. March turned out amazing.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of like all the fear monglers hopped out and like bought cars, pulled ahead. The question is though,
were they wrong?
Well, you don't know, right? You don't know until history casts the ballot, right? Right now, you would say, okay, I bought cars, and let's say dealers who stocked up on inventory, they look good this month, right? Because inventory prices went through the roof. Consumers got probably a better deal than they're going to get now on some brands. Some brands have fixed rates and fixed programs. So they said, we're going to...
pricing too, Todd.
Right. We're going to hold the line. So Ford came out as, I'm going to say, the tip of the spear of that. I think it was the best move Ford could have made to preserve market share and goodwill. And I think everyone else kind of scrambled. I've seen a lot of crappy also programs from the OEMs that really are not valuable to the dealer or consumer. They're just talk. So I think it's going to be very interesting. You know, I think these are the shakeouts, like what happens. I just saw JD Powers, posted that, they think SARS will be down a lot, at least 1.5 million units year over. But right now it's on pace to do like almost 19 million, which isn't going to happen, right? It's going to fall off a cliff at some period this year, most likely, or it'll taper down. So did we get a little bump of sales? And now it's just going to erode out because of affordability, because people don't know what to do. I don't know.
And Jay, delinquencies are up. And I just read
that one we predicted.
Right?
Yes. Well, rates are up, right? So things have become totally unaffordable for a lot of people. And, look at groceries, look at everything else we're spending money on. Like, you can't have a $750 car payment with only a few years ago, the average was like $430.
Right. Well,
$450.
They also, I just read a statistic, Todd, that used to be 16% a couple months ago. 84-month loans was 16% of the total, and now 84-month loans just hit roughly 20%. So
yeah, that's not good for our industry because you're pulling people out into a long cycle market.
That's right.
Where they'll be upside down in a car for a long, long time. So now, not only are we dealing with higher rates, we're dealing with negative equity, and I think already dealers have seen some of that coming back in now. That COVID deals, where, dude, they were 15 grand over MSRP on some cars. They just
30
clobbered it.
30 on some Cadillac SUVs, Escalades.
Yeah, and let's not even mention Mercedes, like a G-Wagon. They were like a couple $100 grand. I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. But you look at like people just, wanted something and they'll pay for it. But, there's a long tail financial cost to that and to the industry. So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Listening to, I was just reminded, didn't we think COVID would be over in like 90, 180 days originally? Wasn't that a thing?
I don't. Yeah, I feel they hoped, right? So
it changed so many times, Jay.
How can? Here's what I'm trying to get at. How can? I know we're not getting into lawsuits, but we've kind of taken a U-turn with AI and stuff. How can the tariffs and this belief that we're going to start building parts domestically not have a long-term effect on this industry, at least for this year?
Well, it
Oh,
has.
that's not even a long term. That's a short term effect.
There
Right.
we go. I'm trying to
Yeah.
be nice. That's
Yeah.
why I don't understand that the headlines are still really rosy. Ah, we'll just adapt, or oh, this, or no.
Well, we're not going to build factories
No,
in the next 3 months and have them up and running.
that's like 18 months. Like that's long tailed fixing that part. That is not a hey, we're gonna turn around and build a factory and build parts in the US. And look, there's a lot that has to be overcome to do that. The average worker in the US, union worker, is $60 an hour. The average worker in Canada is 40. The average worker in Mexico is 8. How do you overcome that? This is why they've been sending parts to the neighboring countries to do finish work or do casting. Like, it just makes financial sense. Now, I get you want to bring it back, but if it costs 4 times the amount of the part, think of the downstream issues that that's going to create.
Well, and I thought I read that I can't think of the name of the supplier. They were like, "Well, we're just gonna wait. We don't know. We can't decipher this daily craziness." I don't think anybody is starting any plans to start building parts domestically. I realize there's a president that said that, but I don't think that's real.
No. Well, listen, they just came out today and they said he might pause it.
Well, they might pause.
Right, exactly.
It was a pause though on parts only, not the vehicle.
Right, just the parts.
And only if they were, if I understood, only if they were made in Mexico and Canada, right? It was only going to
Right,
be.
yeah.
So-
So again, it's that NAFTA kind
Isn't
of.
there some kind of a cry wolf story out there where if you cry wolf enough, then nobody's sure about the wolf thing?
You know,
Did I dream that?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know what this game plan is. I don't know if we're playing chess as a country. We're playing checkers. Like, I
Right?
don't know.
It's all the
Todd.
games mix it. It's your
Or
your
it could be
your younger
Romper Room.
brother mixed all the games.
Yeah.
That's the one we're playing.
It could be Romper Room. We don't know.
It might be because I don't know. Like,
And-
it struggles. Like, I don't know. Like, look, if you put policy in place to me in a country, you probably want to keep it. Like, to pull things back right away seems a little weird, but the blowback was crazy, right? Stock market dropped insane, tech sell-off, everything that's happened. You know, obviously American industry's crying like, hey, you can't do this to us. Like, the ramifications are coming. Now, long term, I don't know. Like, do we even want this type of manufacturing in the U.S.? Like, is that the most efficient thing?
See, that's
Or does it bring the tech back and do more tech manufacturing here? But because, look, a lot of it, think about it, almost all chips are done in Taiwan or overseas. I could see bringing medicine back. We had a problem getting drugs during COVID. We had to beg other countries and borrow and, to get vaccine here because we don't make a lot here anymore. So there are some things that probably as a country, it supports that we should have internal structure to always keep us safe, always keep us protected. Like, we're never gonna, send our arms creation to China, right? Or we're never gonna manufacture our weapons like overseas. Most likely, a vessel stay domestic. So there are things that probably make sense to be
do
here.
we domestically? Do we do our weapons domestic?
The key stuff, yeah.
Is that why the Pentagon costs so much?
That's
No.
why hammers
I mean-
cost $300. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Say
I
here.
think it's
Nobody-
I think it's his retirement plan.
I mean,
Yeah.
nobody forced companies, automakers, to use the global economy to save money to build their stuff.
Oh, yes, they did. Yes, you
Did
are
they?
forced. Listen, you have to realize the idea that a country can live on its own today is long, long gone. The idea of isolationism is dead. We live in a completely global and interconnected society. If COVID didn't teach us that, nothing else will. So whether it's manufacturing, whether it's farming, all these things are globalized operations today. They're all interconnected. We can't, we can't just be self-sufficient operationally anymore. It just doesn't work because we live in a global economy. Ask
Jay,
Ray
do you-
Dalio. That's not
Hey,
even my words.
Wait a minute, Jay. Do you have the phone number for the White House? I think time to make a phone.
I actually do. I call all the time. I feel so. Are we in another Stanford experiment here? Is that what this is?
No, you know what it
It'd be
is?
more like Stockholm syndrome.
Right?
Yeah, I think it's scare. I think it was scare the world, and go to the table to negotiate. And listen, out of all the countries, he has 90 of them that he needs to negotiate with, right? Like, should we be paying a 10% tariff to drop crap into England? No, that should be fair trade. So there are things that make sense, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
There
okay.
are things.
I'm back.
Right. Yes.
I actually.
Okay.
Kevin O'Leary has been talking about a global reset of negotiation.
That's what
and
this
by
is.
the way, thanks for tuning in. What we've done is we're having a real conversation about the national global economy, and we've couched it as this show about dealer lawsuits. That way, the nationalists aren't on our tail.
Probably, yes.
Okay. Having said that, I do believe in like shaking the poker table, right? Upsetting the money table, right? In or outside the church. I'm with you. Is this the way to do it? I guess.
It doesn't matter. He chose to do it, so it's done.
And if there's a guy to do it, I guess he's the guy.
Well, listen,
Right?
he did write the book in the 80s, The Art of Deal. Now,
Right.
I don't know if he really wrote it. And two,
No.
again,
No.
is this like, look, we live in different worlds, right? So we live in a 4-year world. China lives in like a 30-year world, meaning their cycle, it's 30 years. So they're playing Go. Maybe we're playing chess with the world. Maybe, as I said, maybe we're checkers, or maybe we're, as Tom said, maybe we're just playing whack-a-mole and don't really have a plan.
Can I shoot you straight? Do you guys think that are we on the right? Is this a good idea? Maybe.
It's
Maybe.
he's played the same card over and over, right? I mean, if he's a strategic guy, then he said, "Okay, we're going to raise your tariffs. Okay, we're going to raise them again. Okay, we're going to raise them again. Okay, we're going to pull back on this. Oh yeah, Apple gave me a lot of money, so I'm going to make an exclusion for, cell phones and computers and."
I saw that consumer electronics
Right.
are
Well, he had
not.
to.
Right.
He can't bring that here. And
Yeah.
it's just a cost. I saw that research, which was crazy. Like, to build an iPhone stateside will be over like $3,000, $2,800.
So
to
if
build
I
it.
was a news reporter, wouldn't? Oh, that's right. I can't say anything because I'm not in the inner circle.
Yeah.
That's right.
I just think there's.
You're not allowed in the press room, Jay.
Well, listen, the first thing is,
It's not the only place.
look, none of this stuff gets out until it already happens, because no one wants to be transparent for what things actually cost and profitability. Like, nobody wants to give up trade secrets. So I think until you see these types of policies go into place, then the reality starts to set in. Like, what can be done and what can't be done.
Is that what you think is happening? Is he's coming to a reality, for example, on the computers and the cell phones and the auto parts? Is that what you think, Todd?
I think it's that the stark reality of like, well, what looks good, like right up front, as you dig in some layers, you're like, holy crap, we'll crater America for the next, couple years. And, is that the right course? To be more isolated, bring stuff back that we can't really bring back? How big are costs going to go? People will revolt. People are already upset. I don't understand the whole egg price thing still. Like, I still have a hard time getting around it.
I actually don't think he did that one, though.
He didn't, but it's so weird that, like, what the hell is going on? Like, I went shopping with my wife for the first time in a while. I went to Target, and I was like, wow, it's like going to, like, outer space to me, because I hate going to stuff like this. And I looked at a thing of toilet paper, right? Like 8 rolls, like, Charmin something. It was like $20. I was like, what? I remember it was like $8. I asked her, I was like, this is why your Amex is so much, babe. I was like,
Dude,
and I'm like,
You
he goes, yeah.
apologize, Todd?
What?
gosh.
Did you apologize to your wife after you said,
Kinda, yeah. I was
this
like,
is why your Amex is so big?
yeah, I was like, because I'm always like, babe, what is up? How are you spending like this much money? She's like, dude, groceries, Todd. I was like, what? No, this can't be real. So I went and saw it firsthand. I was like, like when you made some bad decisions are being made, now you go to the war site, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of trauma around here. And it was crazy to think how expensive things have got for everyone. And look, it will only get dramatically worse for a while, until we could right the ship. But will it get that much cheaper? No, because our cost of labor in the U.S. is so high.
So let's go back to auto industry, and we'll try to work our way back to the dealer.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be more headlines that say, holy shit.
That whatever sells papers, that's what they put up. And whatever the...
But even as individuals, everyone's like, yeah, how are you? And let's hug.
I don't know how much hugging's going on right now.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I haven't seen that much, Jay.
Yeah.
Well, that's how people... Yeah, go ahead.
And look, think of our business right now, the trauma. So you have, let's say you have 2 stores, 3 stores. Now you have OEM, incentives are going to dry up, rebates are dried up, and
Inventory's drying up.
Yeah, inventory's on a slower road. Like, what's going to get, I think some of the OEMs will shutter some lines, right, and start limiting production, especially the ones that are going to get whacked.
Right.
VWs, Audis, like those hard win points, they're not prepared for this.
Yeah.
Well, but BMW makes some cars here, so they can skirt. Some of them are gonna they're gonna skirt around to keep some type of marketplace like penetration. But if from an OEM, think about it, like Hyundai's pretty good prepared here in the US, and some of the others, this might be an opportunity to gain market share.
Well, you've got Todd, you've got others like Mitsubishi that just said, we're going to stop sending cars, period.
Yeah.
Right. Audi. Audi cars are sitting at ports.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not going to put them in because they don't want to pay the tariff. So,
or they don't want to pay the tariff yet, or maybe they're waiting for the president to change the tariff, and then they could rush a whole bunch through that day.
It's like the stock market. They're just waiting for the tariff to go as low as they think it could go.
Let's call it like tariff arbitrage, right? Or tariff triage. I mean, either one. I think.
Well, think about the cost. If I bring in 500 cars or 1,000 cars at a 25% tariff versus a 20%.
Sure.
And think of the average price of an Audi. You're talking
maybe
so much money, and that's their money, just ripped out.
Maybe the social lesson is, because in COVID we got like a science lesson. Now we're going to get like a global economic lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what, right?
This is textbook.
That's a good way of looking at it, Jay.
Yeah,
so
this is a global textbook. We'll refer to this.
We've never read this chapter, though. I mean, we don't have it.
Tariffs of 2025 and what it did globally.
I mean, now wait a minute. Now, to be fair, we all saw Ferris Bueller, and we all know about the Smoot-Hawley and the fact that it didn't work in the Depression, and that's what we're doing now. So we all learned from Ferris Bueller that it didn't work 100 years ago, and why are we doing it now?
I'm really glad you mentioned this, because nobody reads history books or goes to history class. I know. See, that's the thing. Again, that's what's weird. As individuals, we have some of the pieces.
Listen,
but when we look out the window, it seems empty.
History's a good guide. It's not what will actually happen, but it is valuable lessons into what could, or pieces of could, or it gives you context. Like, hey, this was going on in this time in history. Now, things are different, right? We're far more global than we were back then. And, there are lots of differences. But, the underlying thing is tariffs are... the best way tariffs were explained to me was, okay, you're a country and you're in a boat, and you get in a country and another country hops in the boat and you shoot a hole in the boat, and the other country gets mad and shoots a hole in the boat. Tariffs do nothing for any of us. Like, we're both going to sink the boat. Like, we're going down together. So us and China fighting this like 100% tariff, 134, we're just screwing each other up. Now, they have such a long 30-year time frame, they don't necessarily care. And they control a ton of the manufacturing. So,
and political
8%.
Sorry.
8%. That is all that comes to the U.S. That is all the GDP of the U.S. for China is 8%. So remember, 92% of their crap goes somewhere else in the world. So do they really care about the 8%? No.
So China's going to win this trade war.
I mean, they could. I don't know if they will. And this is the whole thing, because the globe still runs on the dollar, not the yuan. Like, there's still underlying things that will determine, what happens.
But the dollar's going down. It has gone down 10%, I believe, in Canada as an example. And we've given up a lot of political goodwill. Which,
well, listen, we took Canada, our brother, and we just stabbed them.
Oh my God, I can't believe what we did to Canada.
Well, we stabbed Canada.
Right.
And you're
Bam!
like, Canada defended
Twice.
us. Canada has joined us on every global confrontation since World War II. They've been by our side. They've locked hand in hand with us. They've been a great neighbor to the north. And we're like, boom. And look, was it smart? Probably not. But again, it is Trump trying to get balance in this North American piece. And again, I'm not an economist, but it seems weird.
Even Greenland is lifting their kilts at us.
Well, the interesting thing, we want Greenland because of minerals.
I
know. We invaded Iraq for the oil. I get it, but
and the Arctic and the Arctic, access. But it's the minerals too. But I also saw
do it diplomatically, right? I mean, do we need to own it?
Greenland's also producing a lot of hats that says MAGA, Make America Go Away.
Yeah, I saw that.
That is so funny.
Where was that hat 5 years ago?
Yeah.
One could argue, I'm going to go to camera, one could say, of the two people watching, one of them might be offended by what we're talking about, but I feel like, it's almost like you can't say this out loud. We are in nationalism. It's the 1940s here in America.
Jay,
you can't go against the tide.
It doesn't matter whether you voted for him or you did not vote for him. All of my statements tonight are apolitical, right? I mean, this is what we're in, and this is what I see.
But it still sounds negative to the administration. And that's what bothers me.
Look, they got to figure it out. And how do you figure it out? Look, sometimes you have to have leeway to also make mistakes, as long as you correct them.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
He's making
we're talking
mistakes.
about the party of no mistakes.
Well, that doesn't exist. When you make and look, I'm going to bring this right back to the car business. So when you sit in a car dealership and then you're like, I don't want to train my people because they leave, and I don't want to do anything, and I'm going to live in status quo, and I'm going to keep using the formulas, and you don't do that, what happens? You get beat. Guys edge you out. And staying constant in this world is not an answer. So now, do you need to go in and change up every department simultaneously? Probably not a great idea, but this is a strategy he took, that he wants to fight the entire planet, fight all the domestic, and kind of rechanging how our government functions, because maybe our government is a little too big. I don't know. I don't make those decisions.
Right. Fundamentally, we all kind of agree with the Doge idea.
Well,
right?
Listen, I don't think we should. If we're such a great country, why are we in debt?
Totally.
Why are we overspending?
Well, and we continue to overspend. We continue. Social Security is supposed to be broke by 2033, right? I read today that Social Security in like 2033 will be 120% of gross domestic product.
So
All
right.
the things are just their numbers are just astounding.
So we need checks and balances. Obviously, you can send bills to the Fed and they'll just send you checks. Nobody checked. There are things that have gone on in a bureaucracy with so much money and wealth that we need checks and balances. So do I believe that we should have them? Yes. And does anyone really want to take on that job? No, except some crazy other entrepreneur who built a car company when no one's done it in 100 years, privatized space, and did some other cool stuff. And it's like, well, if he's willing to put that effort in to help do that, I'm okay with that. I don't think he is going to like try to screw the individual person. Like, there's no
You,
benefit for him.
you,
He's just helping himself, though. I mean,
Sure,
Starlink and getting $1 billion of contract. I mean,
but
but
would he have got him already? He already had NASA contracts. He already has them. And look, he has built amazing businesses, and they work sort of. They've been up and down. I mean, I don't think I'd want to own a Tesla right now. My poor Alan Cooper,
okay.
he's getting egged in
So,
in
okay,
California.
I want to say
by
this.
Tesla.
The amount of violence against Tesla.
That's wrong to me.
Okay, exactly. It
That I
proves
don't.
this. It proves to me the bigger social problem that I think more people are crazy than we want to admit, because that's crazy. Who the? Why are you randomly vandalizing a car because you don't like the guy that made the? Like what? That makes no sense. That's nuts. I'm not
Listen,
gonna go vandalize a Tesla.
we're a crazy country.
Come
We
on.
do crazy things.
I know,
so-
but it's a lot of people. It's just
Well, listen, everyone says there's a lot of people,
Crazy.
but I know nobody who's
Right.
egged a Tesla.
well, it's not
okay?
a million, all right. But if it's 1,000, it's just a
But
lot
it's
of people. It's enough people to be caught on news. I mean, it's
But
crazy.
we also live in a world where everything is filmed. Everything is now seen. Whether it's a big thing or
Boy,
it's a
isn't
little
that
thing,
the truth? Yeah.
it is everything is exposed all the time. And
Okay.
people eat on that.
And there's 20 people with their cell phones recording it, which is another proof of social psychosis. What are you doing?
and that's because they're made in China because they're too expensive to be made here in the U.S.
Because they want to be the next YouTube star, Instagram personality, because they recorded some guy getting arrested on a flight or whatever.
Okay, but think about this. Which one of us 10 years ago, so let's go back, 2015, would believe you could make $1 million a month being a social influencer?
Right?
Which one of us would believe that?
I still hardly believe it, but you're right, I would have never believed that.
Okay, so what we're also seeing is complete transition of how we even operate and monetize the world. And obviously, sensational news has worked since I remember it was like it wasn't like a hostage. What was the first thing that was recorded on live TV and viewership like skyrocketed?
It was the Munich. It was the
It was
Munich.
right,
Munich.
72, right? The
That's
Munich.
That's right.
Let me. So
It was
so
the
here-
highest rated. That was with Peter Jennings was the reporter. It was the highest rated TV viewership ever.
So fast forward, and then it became reality TV, and then it's like globalization. Like we can see, like I tell my son, I walk with him all the time with the dog. And I said, look, we're in a time where we could talk to someone in China right now. I could talk to someone in England. I could talk to someone. I could get people from my company all over the world together on a single call. That to me is mind blowing. So we are absolutely interconnected, where we could be on a video call. I could be watching their house. They're watching mine. Like we have this capability now it's transformational to me. And it just,
No,
it
wait.
changes
Pause.
how we think.
Jay, we're on
Dude.
a Zoom call.
Right. Well, think about what.
We Zoom.
Right, none of us are in the
Okay.
same locale.
So let's pause now. What's going to be going on in 10 years? That's impossible to conceive, and it will be inconceivable.
Well,
Yeah.
Will we even have the freedom to do this? I am not kidding. I'm watching the news, and some of the things now being said in the news. Yeah, I'm hooked on the news because I'm hooked on media, but I can't believe some of the things I'm seeing. I'm like, what? No way.
well, you mean the guy in Maryland, right? Who's being held in El Salvador?
Yeah, right. He can't come back.
Well, you know, Trump.
They don't want
has
him back.
said- Trump has said, "Well, I can't bring him back," and the El Salvador president yesterday said, "Well, I can't bring him back because then I'm
Right.
supporting a terrorist." I mean, and so in the
I didn't
Justice
know he was from
Department-
Maryland.
Yeah, the
He's
Justice
just a guy
Department.
from Maryland.
Yeah, and the Justice Department is saying, "Okay, we told the president that we want to know what efforts he's making because they ordered him back, and are we going to have a constitutional crisis over that? Because so far the the judicial, I mean the presidential branch of the government has said, sorry, you can't do anything. And the guy was sitting in his living room yesterday,
Holy crap.
right? I mean, so we don't know about
So-
the freedom of speech and whether we have what all
So-
that looks like. But
So I'm gonna go back to the automotive industry for a second here.
10 years from now, we have more Waymo.
Way more.
Yeah, we
Hey,
do.
How about this? Way more Waymo.
Way more
What? No way. He did
Way
that.
more Waymo,
What's
guys.
going on?
We're gonna put a pin in way more Waymo. That's in.
It's funny you said, because actually I was asked to make a prediction, and I did. I made a prediction video in December, and my prediction was Robotaxi
Right.
will increase.
Absolutely.
It was the only thing I knew for sure.
Absolutely.
I think, and I'll go give you a scary thinking of that. So if you agree that Waymo and Robotaxi are going to increase dramatically, then is it preposterous to think car sales drop to low because it's only wealthy people that can afford them now?
Well,
And-
wait a minute. I think it changes, Todd.
Yes.
Let me just piggyback on that. I think what happens is, and you saw this start when BMW tried to charge a subscription for a heated seat,
Yeah, and yeah, I remember.
right? And so what the manufacturers are trying to do is they're trying to get everything on the car to be a subscription, which is additional profit compression for the dealer and more profit for the manufacturer. So it takes, it takes money out of the dealer's pocket. I think you will continue to see that as a trend, whether it's subscriptions to the car parts or pieces or whatever. I think that's something certainly.
And with EVs, way less parts, way less maintenance, and you could automate it that it just shows up in the middle of the night and gets repaired at some facility, and it's back in your driveway in the morning. So we're also going to enter a time where, do we need this many cars on the road? And if
Right.
we don't need this many cars on the road, then roads last longer. And when roads last longer, then we have less traffic. And like, if you start to compound the things that could potentially grow out of a more on-demand moving around, because think about it, there was a time rich people had horses, poor people rented horses. My wife and I watch Bonanza together. So
That's awesome.
If you don't have a lot of money, you get down
I
to
didn't
you get down to
even
the
know that.
livery, you get down to the stable and say, I need a horse for the day. It's $2, and I
And
take
that's
the
what
horse.
a livery is, a place with horses.
Yeah, but then it became a place with cars. It's still the same thing. They
Right.
still call it the same thing. So,
That's right.
but the thought is
Delivery.
just called livery. So you go into livery, you get your horse, you go do something, and then you come back. And like, why? Look, a car is the second most expensive purchase we make, yet it sits. So this is crazy. So what do we have? 168 hours in a week, right? I think, is that correct? Like, or
Right. This was the idea behind What,
Right.
ride
But the
sharing
real
your car
reality is
stuff?
we
Yeah.
drive a
Turo.
car. We drive a car less than like 20.
But Turo
So-
doesn't exist anymore, does it?
Yeah, Turo still exists.
Yeah,
Oh, it
Toro still
does?
exists. Yeah.
Oh, how they doing?
I
I don't know
don't
how they kept up on that one.
I don't hear a lot about it. I know that every Turo owner I've run into has no insurance. They think they do because they think it's covered under
I
their.
think that's on the website. It says that. No, okay. But no, listen, but back to your idea. But you're not wrong. And Turo's not wrong. This idea has a reality. Maybe it was too early.
Yeah. So
COVID
look,
killed it, right?
COVID slowed it down.
Yeah.
So, and listen, getting to autonomous level 4 is also an insanely difficult thing. They've had multiple like event horizons that were bad. Like every time they're like, "Oh, we're right there next year." Nope. Hey, right there next year. Nope. Right there next year. Obviously, you keep saying next year long enough, it's true at some point. Or, is it so close that it's better than humans? And also think about safer driving, right? Less accidents.
I don't think most Americans are even listening to you right now.
No, listen, you know why? Because it breaks the pattern of how we live our lives today.
Yeah, and people are Todd is right because people are super nervous about any pattern interrupt that might.
Hey, who's fucking with my car right now?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, think about it. If you had a car and if I told you your car, Jay, cost you $800 a month plus insurance, so another $200, plus $200 for gas. So now, okay, you're at $1,200, okay? And that's with no maintenance, okay? This is now average person. Now I go, hey, I can do that. I can give you the same car for $400. It just shows up when you need it, and you could keep the other $800.
Okay, the car would have to be able to drive autonomously.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, the logistics are not going to work.
No, the car
Because
drives.
I'm not going to trade keys, and you can't.
No.
Me and
It does.
you
It's
and
it's
gates
an
and
autonomous thing.
germs and
You
weirdos.
You subscribe to an autonomous.
No, Jay, you have to
driving.
give everybody the keys. That'll be your job.
Right. Exactly. Oh,
You're the
people
key
will
man.
love that.
Yeah, man, you're like on Ghostbusters. You're the key.
That's right.
Oh, great.
So,
You're
but I mean,
you're
look,
literally
that's,
the key man.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's
no.
one thing I can
Cancel that bad idea.
One thing can definitely see in 10 years. Two is now obviously AI is going to advance enough that inside robots.
So, all right, now listen, I'm with you. So we have to, but we are going to have to socially change so much before we get to this ride sharing. Because right now, ride sharing is like conjuring Joe Biden.
Well, no, it depends on what part of the country you're in. Like if you live in Washington, D.C., and you live in the outskirts of Washington, ride sharing is normative. I mean, everybody does it. You just get in the car with 3 people and off you go.
But you don't even have to do that. You can still get in your own car, like meaning you can get in your own Uber and then just picture your own Uber without a driver and go. Now, obviously, it'll be dense around high population areas first. But think about it. We're already it's already happening. Think about it this now. We have transitioned. Who would have got into a stranger's car to be driven somewhere 10 years ago?
That's right.
0% of people
I
would say
agree.
like,
I love that you said
okay,
that. It's so
so
true.
0%.
Because your first Uber is a weird one, right?
Right,
But
because you're like,
yeah,
do I talk to this guy?
but everybody Ubers now.
Is he my new friend? Do I offer him
Yeah.
a bottle of water? Do I give him a stick of gum? Like,
Right.
are we gonna exchange numbers at the end?
Do we
of
have to
this
hang
ride?
out? I just want the ride.
Right. So we've gotten used to it, and kids now, they have Uber for kids. That's all they know. I just hop into Uber, I got an app, and I get there. Now, just pull the human out. What's the problem?
Yeah. No, I.
So,
Man, I
look
totally
at
with you.
things,
But
to me,
you're right.
It's Maya.
Regionally, yeah.
Yeah, it's Maya. It's most advanced yet acceptable. So we can thank Raymond Lowy for that, or Lowy. He invented the concept called Maya, which means most advanced yet acceptable. So humans will accept things that are advanced, but it still has to have a line to something that they're comfortable with. So
It's
I can give you an example. He's the guy who put a window in the space capsule because he wanted to ensure the astronauts could look back to Earth to stay connected to where they came from. Because the original design did not have a window in it. They had to put a window in it. He did a ton of things that you would... it's advanced, but it still feels familiar. So I think we're already going through it. We're seeing, we use Uber, and then we're going to get an Uber one day, and there's not going to be a dude in it. And then that's it. And we're fine.
it's Waymo.
Yeah, it's Waymo. And you get in a Waymo, it is weird for the first time, but you do it a few times around Scottsdale. It's okay. Just don't try to take it to the airport. It drops you off 3/4 of a mile from the airport. So anyone listening, do not try to take it. I knew this before I got there, but I watched guys with their bags walking up the long 3/4 mile because it doesn't have permission to go into the airport yet.
Oh, it doesn't have permission to go in. Okay, so I want to do something dangerous. All right? Because I need your help. I'm trying, based on everything you just said, I've got, all right, here we go. That's not that dangerous. All right, what did I do? I just went to CBT News, okay?
Yep.
All right. Now, when I go here, it looks to me like we're doing great.
Okay.
Am I wrong that it looks like we're doing great?
From headlines, interesting, yes.
I mean, but you keep going. Look, I don't see any real problems. We're fine. Man, we're great. Resilient, strengthen, advise,
Well, listen,
trends.
I don't,
Man, we're doing great, dude. Great. This is awesome. This is awesome, man.
Well, maybe Jim does not
This
believe
is awesome.
in using sensational news up front.
I listen, it's not a comment on Jim. It's not. This is the automotive industry as I see it.
But
And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna keep giving more awards. The harder things get, the more awards we're gonna award.
wait a minute, time out.
Yeah, take it.
To be fair, as Todd said earlier, March was a kick-ass month for lots and lots of dealers, right? Today we're only halfway through the month, and that's assuming that your month end actually coincides with the month end, which doesn't always happen. Dealers keep that, May 3rd, May 4th, May 5th, right? To take deals and to dump them in the last month. And dealers still aren't having inventory problems. Now, their inventory might have had the used car prices are going up, no question.
But that's good for them because that means they're not underwater.
Correct. They're not underwater yet.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem yet, right? And I'll worry about when I do have a problem, which is poor risk mitigation, but that's the way a lot of them think. But right now, your observation is correct because it hasn't hit everybody in the head yet. We're not quite there yet. We don't know what tariffs are going to happen and which ones aren't on a either temporary or permanent basis. And so I don't think you're going to see the chaos that you're asking about until perhaps June or July, right? Because that's when if you're selling your new car inventory and you've run out and now all of a sudden you have to replenish and the new ones have the tariffs added to the MSRP, it's a different story. But I don't think we're quite there yet. It's a good question, but I just don't, I don't see it at the moment.
So I'm glad you said that. That was good, because we are fair and balanced. You're fair, he's balanced, and I'm crazy. All right, But fraud has been out of control in logistics for a long time, and there's still no headline that says fraud is out of control in logistics. The headlines say we're freedom fighting fraud fighters and we're fighting for fraud free. There are no more negative headlines. We don't have those in automotive.
Well, first off, it's not enough, right? There are negative headlines in auto, dude. Like, you can go on LinkedIn, you can go on NADA is really anti-tariff. There's Wall Street Journal, which has gotten a little weird, has written a bunch. Like, but the other thing you have to face that anyone who's writing stuff for these publications is writing things for people to read it. And people don't want to read the same stuff, for one. And two, yeah, look, fraud is on the rise, but is it enough to change people? And I think this, Tom, you are probably perfect for this question, because I could say to you and tell you at my dealership, I have whatever problems, but I don't want compliance because I don't want to change. And I'm sure you feel that you've seen this happen over and over again, where blatantly violating things or blatant problems in the open, but they're waiting to get hit by something. They just, because humans do not like change. And I don't know, we've talked about it, Tom, so.
We have. I call that a case of the yets. I haven't had a problem yet, so I don't have a problem. So why worry about it?
Or it's not enough of a problem.
Right.
And I think that's about, I always tell this, Jay, as a fun story. I think I told you, Tom, like, so a salesman's walking down the road and he's walking by this farmhouse, a big white picket fence, and up on the porch is this farmer, and next to him is this giant hound dog, man, with the big giant head and the slobberiness. And that hound dog is howling. And he's walking by and he's like, hey, mister, like, what's up with your dog? Why is he howling? He's just sitting there. He goes, and that farmer's rocking like this. He goes, he's sitting on a nail. And the salesman's like, well, why doesn't he get off of it? He goes, it doesn't hurt that bad. And I think it's such a thing in our industry. Listen, we'll complain about the world.
Was awesome.
But we're not necessarily going to go out.
Doesn't hurt that bad.
It's the frog. It's the frog in the boiling water, right?
Yeah, until it boils over.
So I like these roles we've moved into here, because, like, I'm Debbie Downer. I see so many people open to work, and I feel like it's ratcheted up the need to be super happy, sprite, everything is cool. Meanwhile, at home,
Well,
we got the price of eggs, $20 toilet paper, and we're just holding the wall of sanity.
Well, that's Facebook versus LinkedIn, right? Happy people on Facebook and Instagram, right? And then LinkedIn, I'm open to work, and I've been looking for a year. And
I can't believe I would have ever said. Here's what I can't believe. 10 years ago, I would have never said I prefer Facebook over LinkedIn. But the reality of people on Facebook versus the reality of people on LinkedIn is now starting to drive me crazy.
How so, Jay?
Because people on LinkedIn are not real people anymore. They're acting like bots. They're acting like freaking bots.
There are a lot of bots.
It's not real. In fact, I'm so glad to see the plastic people in the containers meme. Like, because you are a plastic person in a container for real now. And it's driving me crazy.
It is an interesting time, as I think we just shift. Like, as a society, culture, how we're exposed to the world, how everyone feels they want a voice in the world, right? That we find value in having a voice. I think that everyone wants a voice, and they see other people have a voice, so they're like, I need to go have my voice. And then you have a lot of people with the same voice. And you know what I mean?
And a really weird voice.
Yeah.
like
Well,
Todd, here's what I want you to do. I want you to set your AI to create like an image of you like on a couch with a bunch of dogs and kitties. And then the caption says something completely non sequitur to that image.
sure.
That
Like
is LinkedIn.
yeah, like I'm going to get gas. Yeah, and me on the couch with my
Yeah.
dog. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact,
So-
you're getting gas while on the couch with
Yeah.
your dogs, and the words say, like you should try Gamma AI. Like that post would make no sense. It's perfect for LinkedIn.
Yeah, listen, figuring out the LinkedIn algorithm is very interesting. I spent a lot of time messing with it, and what engagement it likes to me is very interesting.
And what do you think that is, Todd?
Why or what?
Or what? What do you think
I can
that
tell
is?
you I can tell you very specifically what works. So,
Okay.
it likes it likes posts usually about 600 characters is like to 6 to 1200 characters kind of max. Sometimes less is more. It has to be written for a mobile device. So it has to be scannable, quick bites, and it has to have spacing. This I'm giving you framework. 2, it needs a very strong hook, and the hook could be hooks are like either as a founder I learned this week, or I lost $7 million last year, and then people want to read that. So think of hooks that are absolutely polarizing. LinkedIn likes these. So like short posts, but what then really matters is the engagement. How fast. So what LinkedIn takes your post and serves it to a very small audience. And based on that, if you get a comments and likes very quick, it shows it to more and more and more and more. And this is how posts get to, 10, 20, 50, 100,000 views. And it is a very systematic thing. And, in auto, we don't have like a giant audience, because if I write something like founder and it hits like the B2B space, those posts go crazy. If I write about something very dealership specific, they're good, but auto people are mostly, they don't engage in content. I'll have 1 million people DM me or catch me, email me, or do something else. They'll be like, I read your thing. But they'll never comment. They'll never even like it. And they'll read it or scroll past. And
I
They're
want to.
They're
I
lurkers.
want to. I want to make a confession. I've literally stopped liking everything,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm alone. I
don't think
think
you're
it's a
alone
thing.
either.
And isn't that fascinating though? Like you definitely don't say that. But why is that? What's the psychology behind that?
Because it's ubiquitous now. I mean, liking something, I mean, let's start with a question, Jay. How many social media posts do you see every day? Take a guess. 100, 300, 500?
I don't know. I don't even know how to guess.
Well, I mean, just take a guess. I mean, how many let's start this
Well,
way.
Todd's the one with Limitless. Let's ask his AI. No, I don't know. Let's say it's 150.
Yeah.
So you're not going to click like on 10% because you probably don't like 10% of the posts, right?
Ah.
No.
So now, what do I think? Who's got a name in their head of somebody that likes everything? And the question then is, what are they doing?
Right.
They
Right.
either built a bot to comment and like things, so you can build a bot to do that. Though LinkedIn is pretty critical of those things.
I don't think the people I'm thinking of.
I've seen them.
bots.
There's one. There's
Can
a
you
bot.
get more business out of liking things? Man,
No.
that sounds like a LinkedIn post.
Absolutely not. So it's honestly,
it's
it's all
brutal. Ouch.
it's all in the comments. Comments are everything. So
Right.
LinkedIn is.
Can I get
driven
more
by-
business out of commenting on LinkedIn posts?
It's not the comments.
Dang it.
What it is people read through the post and then the comments, and then that. So you have to be engaging there. And once you post, here's the other little secret tidbit: you need to go comment on 3, 5, 8 other people's posts that are similar industry wise, because LinkedIn likes you more if you're showing, hey, you're writing, content and you're engaging with other people's content. It shows you're contributing to their algorithm. I'm telling you, they're training us to what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately
Which is what? What do they want us to do?
Well, they want to sell, if you have a business, they want to sell LinkedIn marketing. Because the business pages do not produce it all.
So that's, oh my gosh.
Only
this is
individual
a giant game
pages.
to get us to buy their marketing?
Yes, it's absolutely.
We're living in a giant infomercial?
Yes, pretty much.
So what does the tariff trade war want us to do?
Well, that doesn't want us to do anything. So
No, they want you to spend money. Just go spend all your money to help, stimulate the economy, Jay.
Yeah.
What does Doge want me to do?
Not work for the government.
Good answer, Todd. I like that.
It's true.
What okay, let's say you're open to work and where are we headed? I know we're now in Philosophyville. That's okay.
We are going to have more jobs in the world continuously.
We are?
Absolutely. And I'll preempt this. I have a post that will get posted on Saturday. I'll read you. In 1900, 38% of Americans worked in agriculture. In 2025, fewer than 2%. Okay? But let me give you some more stats. So in 1900, we had about 39 million jobs, right? In 2025, we have about 170 million jobs.
Okay.
But in time, it only goes up. Like 1900 was at, and I had the exact stats, and I think I must have took them out of here.
You can also say the cost of living goes up because it will continue to, right?
Yeah, but that's a different piece of this. The concept is AI going to kill jobs, right? And the object is it's not.
That's what everybody wants to know.
It's going to displace jobs into new jobs. Just
Which
like
are?
Look, a lot have yet to be decided. First, obviously, we're going to be building more robots. There's going to be robot maintenance. There's going to be more electric vehicle maintenance. There's going to just be more things. And that's the thing we have to start thinking in not a constraint view of the world. We have to look at just the reality. And look, this has played out multiple times. We went from an agricultural society to a manufacturing industrial society to a technological society. And now we're about to transition into an AI society that will be interwoven into everything we do. So we'll keep making more jobs, right? Because we have people that'll be there, but we'll have to rework things. So one thing Trump said when he was elected in 2016 that I always was like, it annoyed me because I was like, why did he say that? Because he was down somewhere and in some small town, and this old lady who's a textile worker, he's like, I'm going to get your job back. And to me, that was an absolute lie. Because textile manufacturing is not coming back. That person needs to be rejobbed into something else. And I think the bigger thing that we have to look at as a society is most likely we're not going to, like, okay, Tom, me, I think we're pretty close to the same age. Jay, I'm not sure how old you are, but our parents...
Nobody knows.
Right. I wouldn't guess. So our parents, it was always adamant, you're going to go to school, you're going to get a job, and you're going to have it for like 40 years. 40. And most people never change jobs. Now, in our generation, Tom and mine, a lot of times maybe we have 2 or 3. This is accelerating because the only competitive advantage we're going to have is our ability to outlearn our other fellow workers, because jobs are going to continue to evolve, and our ability to adapt to new jobs is going to be the value. Not to be like, I'm going to be a robot repairman forever. And you'd be like, well, someone's going to automate that out.
Right. Oh, wow. The 40-year cubicle worker job thing.
All that is dead.
Yeah, that is.
It's already,
I never agreed with that, by the way.
But we could get to a point, think fast forward through time, we could get to a point where our skill sets could last months, a year, and then it's gone.
Oh
And
shit!
now we have
And then you got to retrain.
Well,
or
you'll
something?
continue to adapt and learn. Because look at like right now, I've spent the last year, I don't know about you guys, like how do you prompt better? How do you ask better questions of the AI? And but that has taught me way valuable lessons on all sorts of things
Well, and
of how to get
what the AI that you knew a year ago, what
it's
I'm
totally
learning,
different.
dude, what ChatGPT can do.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But you think about it like, oh, consultant, you want me to build you a strategy? I'll build it in 10 minutes. Using the best Gartner Accenture frameworks. Just load up the frameworks. Hey, build me a plan for X. Like, you don't need... So, and the thing is, we're moving away from what I just call knowledge. Knowledge is going to zero in value. But what is going to be extremely valuable is specialized knowledge. So, and that's where the AI is still not great at piecing all the things together. Like right now, we still have that edge. That edge will eventually leave us, and we will get beat by AI at every turn. I mean, AI is already probably smarter than almost everybody. And I think by ChatGPT 5 or 6. So within the next 12 to 18 months, it'll be because 4 or 5 is about Einstein. It's I think IQ level 155. Einstein was 160. So think about it. Every version that you see in ChatGPT is 10x better. So you're going to have a 10x better. So something with 1,000 IQ.
I will say this. The last time I used ChatGPT, which I think was today, what it was able to do as fast as it was... Here, let me show you. I'll just say, well, I'm not going to... 50 ways to sue the dealer. Okay? That reminds you of a song, doesn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
50 ways to
Right?
your lover.
Okay. Yeah. Right? And so I asked ChatGPT to write me a parody of 50 Ways... And I creative checked it with the best creative instruments I have. And it was good. I was like, wait a minute, that's no way. Like, Weird Al doesn't have a job anymore. Weird Al is now open to work because of ChatGPT.
Look, there's
crazy.
going to be massive changes. Yeah. In the end, look, it's our ability to adapt. That Charles Darwin was right. The creatures that survive, the species that survive, are the most adaptable to the environment. That he's never been more right than the world we live in today.
With the website I brought up and the headlines I brought up and the LinkedIn I've portrayed, I don't see... Yeah, I saw a dealer was like, I had the best March I ever had. You got to adapt. Listen, man, you had a great March because everybody's freaking out. Don't take credit. I don't see this industry adapting as much as hanging on to old ideas and just applying them to current weeks. Oh, well, I think we're in for something crazy. That's what I think.
Let me help you with that one because that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Actually, that's an easy one. You ready? Dealers have tech stacks that are from 20 to 45 different vendors, which means 20 to 45 different pieces of tech and 20 to 45 different control panels. And if they would just listen to Todd, they could throw all that stuff in the garbage can because core AI, right, Todd?
Yeah. So that is, look, we're definitely heading to a world that, and AI needs data. Data is the driver. And it's just going to accelerate everything we do. And like, here's a case in point. Can I share my screen? I'll show you this.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, whoops, I shared mine.
Here,
and
watch.
Yes.
So this is a post I have that'll be going out. But let me see if I can. I don't know if I can't make it much bigger. But so this is Dolly,
years ago?
right?
Okay.
This is like visual ChatGPT. This is 1 year from version 1 to version 6.
Oh my God.
Now,
What?
I want you to consider this. I showed this to my son. My son is an artist, right? I was like, could you improve that much in a year? He said, Dad, that's probably 25 years of being able to draw and understand like composure and shadows and thing. And you can't even zoom in, dude. You can see all the hairs into the shadow when you like on these images. I will tell you, we are not prepared for the speed of change that is happening at all. Not even close.
So, what's interesting, and I think this is interesting about both of you guys are, you have these specialties, but you roam out of your arena often enough to where you have you guys are both pretty creative for being so business minded.
Listen, Tom is far more creative. By far.
I think Todd's deflecting.
No.
Todd, you're very creative.
Todd's
Yeah.
a smart dude.
I know.
I'm smart, but I'm not creative. Like I feel Tom is like, Todd, your catchphrase at breakfast. He's like, I don't. No one even understands this stuff. I was like, you're probably right. So Tom is like, what about if we change your catchphrase to this? I was like, okay, that's probably better than I could come up with. So,
but neither of you are predictable with your posts and how you approach your business creativity. I see a lot of predictable people and companies.
Yeah, listen, you have to have fun. I think for me, I think Tom and I, the one thing I think we absolutely share in common, I think we are both continuous learners.
100%.
And I don't think we would ever say I'm an expert in anything. I'd say I just keep learning and adapting to the environment I'm in. And this goes to Tom being an octopus who you can't get his little tentacles because he could go in anything, right? Like, look, both Tom and I could sit in any seat in a dealership. We could desk deals. We could run stores. We could do that stuff. Now we're on the other side and, trying to help. And there's challenges in doing that. It's like dealers are resistant to change, but all humans are resistant to change. It's not just car dealers. Humans in general are very resistant to change because our neocortex, our new part of our brain, that's all the logic and coolness. But our limbic system, that's what's keeping us alive. That's what's making 90% of our decisions still, is the ancient brain. That's like, hey, don't move because you don't know when you're going to eat next. And, don't do something that in your brain could cause death. And remember, our brains are locked into, wow, change could equal death. So change is not a thing that we readily just jump in and do. And so I think we navigate that. And I think it's hard, but I think our goal is to keep educating dealers to just be better and think a little different. You don't have to go all in on AI. Don't forget AI. Organize your data. Get your compliance in order. Do the fundamental things, and just do the right things. And the other thing, I don't know, Tom, if you add color to it, but the people who get promoted in dealerships were the best salesperson. They necessarily were not the best manager.
Right.
And you get a lot of leaders who have to learn to be managers and learn what's important to be a manager. And I think a lot of stores don't have that.
Well, I think it goes without saying that if you're a great salesman, it doesn't mean you're going to be even a decent manager, because it's a different skill set. And you have to take the ego it's actually kind of the exact opposite, right? As a salesman, you're the best, you're the one who's going to close the deals, you're the one who's going to make all the money, right? As a manager, it's the other way around. As a manager, you have to pour yourself into the other salesmen to make them feel like they're the best and that they can go close all the sales to make you the money. And so it's almost exactly opposite. If they're not getting any training, and we all know that training in a dealership is the first thing that gets cut. If there's an expense problem, it's the training goes out the window, or there's no training, or it's training like I got trained, which is watch this guy sell for a day and then go, you're on the floor.
Yep. My guy was Jerry Corlew. You're going to track this dude. And I was like, what? He goes, follow this drunk alcoholic around for a couple days, and he's going to teach you the business. I was like, okay.
I had the same drug alcoholic, Todd. He had a different name.
So,
Yeah.
it's funny you said it, because the leadership topic in automotive is also driving me crazy. I don't know how many people I can name pushing leadership, and some of them, man, I wouldn't follow them into J.C. Penney. All right? You're not leading me anywhere. Why are you pushing leadership? Are we that devoid of like our own logic?
Well, some of them are just totally obtuse.
Crazy.
Some of them have overblown senses of self-importance. Some of them are leaders. It depends on who you're talking about, and we're not naming names tonight.
No, I don't name names, but I am losing it with the things I'm seeing in automotive. It's making me crazy.
Well, we don't
Am
want
I
you to
alone?
get crazy.
I think you need a little bit of a social media fast there, Jay. You need
Actually,
to take a week off or something.
you know what? That's a great idea. That is a great idea. A social media fast.
Yeah.
Todd.
No,
What
I
makes you
just
so-
listen. I can definitely say, first off, reading all this stuff, you have the ability to keep scrolling, right? And in the
Which
end,
we're all doing. We're all scrolling.
In the end, look, there's a lot of cannon fodder. There is some good nuggets in there, or little bits. I said I find a lot of them in comments. That's why I do like. I've grown to like commenting on other people's stuff, because in the comments you get more candid discussion.
I agree with you. Yes.
So that I like.
3 out of 4 posts, I'm like, no way, that's stupid.
Well, listen, you get a lot of dealer guys just like posting a record month, big month, and I get it. Like, they're, as a business manager, you're trying to also recruit people, so people want to work at great stores. So they're out there tooting their horn to attract others, right? I definitely believe that's probably part of it. Two, I think everyone wants to make in our business. Our business is very ego driven. I'll admit that. Like Tom, I would absolutely say that, and I feel like people want to be seen, and that's it. So it's not like people like.
It is an ego-driven business.
Well, I mean, it's
Automotive
also,
is,
to be fair, one of my favorite comments from bringing it back to Business Bourbon, which is now called Me Plus Ultra, Jay. One of the
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. And
why not? Wait, bourbon? You can't drink bourbon?
No, you can still drink bourbon if you want.
Oh, okay.
A gentleman who I met, his name is Ron Bloom, super smart guy, been around. He said, and this really stuck with me, that no matter what your business is now, every business is a media company.
Good point.
Yeah. Now, I it's interesting, because I have actually pivoted to where I've now said to more than one company, listen, I get it. ATI, we're all doing in-house media. Let me help you with your in-house media. Let me help you not fail at media. Because I think that's now what I've seen a lot more of. Is it started with, I'm gonna do a podcast, and maybe I'll get to episode 5. We do need, we have in-house marketing, in-house management, in-house everything. We need in-house media, but you can't just get up one day and go, well, I'm now in-house media. I mean,
Right.
You can. No one's going to stop you, but that's not how it works. Todd,
Well,
you know this.
I'm
You can't
gonna
just wake
say,
up saying, yeah, go ahead.
AI is
With
going to help do it. Yeah.
Okay, so good. I'm glad, because this is where it comes into, I don't think, because I've tried, I can't consume AI media and actually like it. Not yet. Now maybe I'll get tricked into it at some point, but I still like people. Like, if I'm, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
The day that a robot comic has me going, that'll be an interesting day. Because I still like people comics.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
But we're going to blend a time that the AI is indistinguishable from humans.
Okay, and I'm going to go out on a weird ledge. We're going to get there with then the relationships too, right? Where, see?
Yeah.
Did I find the edge? Because what I'm saying is I still like people. I may be too old to get into the humanoid people, and that applies to my media as well. I still like media made by people, but I'm not saying I can't like media made by AI. I just haven't. It hasn't happened yet.
Right. And listen,
I haven't had my
like
first.
everything. Listen, I'm going to say in the Wild West, if you were the guy who made the best horseshoes, and everyone came to you for horseshoes, and then someone started to make automatic horseshoes, and you're like, no, I don't like the automatic ones.
This is such a good example.
I like the ones I make. They're better.
Yeah.
And at some point,
I'll never get to that snow cone machine. I'm with you. Okay, so let's do it this way. Let's say the AI is great. You know this from, I think this is what you're talking about in jobs of the future, is you still have a person at some point in the management of it, in the
there'll be a lot of things. There'll be
the
tweaking,
prompting.
Prompting will kind of
AI will prompt its prompt.
I think even prompting has a limited value, believe it or not. Like,
right?
I think we have a period of time. I think these things are going to evolve to a point pretty quickly. You'll just talk to it. So think about having a companion with you that you just could converse naturally with. And listen, it knows everything. It doesn't forget. It will understand all the context of you. And you could say, hey, I really want to focus on this. And it could be everything you need it to be. It could be a therapist for you. It could be a motivator for you. It could help you align to do things. And I will give you, like, I put a post out, I don't know, last week. And my comment was, or my post was, tell me what you're using ChatGPT for, but not business. Like, because everyone's going to say, oh, I write emails, I write things. And I already know all that because I do that. I was like, I'm more interested in what other things people do. So I saw comments, and I read them all because I was fascinated. A guy took a picture of his fish tank and said, how many fish can I put in this tank, right? Like, I wouldn't even think of doing that. One guy took a picture of his yard, and it built, like, a landscape plan. Another person built a workout plan. And other people did food and nutrition and said, hey, I have all these ingredients. What can I make? I did, like, at 53, I uploaded my blood work because I have my own GPT. I uploaded my blood work and I said, analyze this as a doctor. And then I said,
yeah.
give me a supplement, like vitamin, mineral of what I need over the next 3 months till I get my next blood panel. I said, give it to me now. And it did it. And I sent it to my doctor. He goes, there's things on here I probably wouldn't even have thought of recommending to you.
You just reminded me, there's an ad that's being run where, God, they're asking professionals in some, I can't remember what it is. They're asking professionals what they think, and they're all like, yeah, wow, that's impressive. Here's what I want to say. Okay, here's an idea, Todd. Is there an AI today that a manager at an automotive business could prompt and say, build me an in-house podcast with media and ads, and it's all AI driven? That's an actual serious question. And if it doesn't exist today, how soon could that exist? Because that right there, seriously, with the new podcasts I'm seeing being made, they're so bad, this AI will crush it for so many businesses in automotive that are faced with so many new bad ideas.
Okay.
I'm being kind of a dick, but I'm not wrong about this. There are some horrible ideas still happening. They need AI.
Yeah, well, listen, do they need AI or just better, thinking about content.
They're not going to get better people. We don't have that. We need AI.
Yeah. So with AI, yes. I mean, at a point, absolutely. Like, is it here today? Not really. You could go on ChatGPT and ask it to structure, build me a workshop or build me a podcast. And this is my expertise. Again, it's all about your prompt, and the quality of your prompt determines the output. So if you have a bad prompt, you get bad outputs. So,
is it ChatGPT though, or is it Dolly, or is it Grok?
No.
This is
look, you're going to use ChatGPT or Claude. So you're going to use one of those two. Grok is good for some stuff. DeepSeek's good for other stuff. Gemini is good for stuff. But for this particular use case, it's probably GPT 3.5. Well, first, I would actually probably start at Perplexity. And I would do deep research. And I would say, research all the top podcasts. Give me a structural understanding of their setup. And forget equipment, right? Let's just talk of the channel, what it talks about, what are the top podcasts. And I'd ask a bunch of detailed questions. I'd have Perplexity do all that research for me. I would take that research and I would copy it and I would put it into a GPT or Claude. And I'd say, now analyze this and now put it under my topic of what I want.
Okay. I'm over here Googling and searching Claude, Perplexity. Todd,
yeah,
I got an offer for you.
Okay.
All right.
And I could tell you how I use Perplexity. My son,
sure,
15 years old, and freshman in high school, he had to do he was doing a paper on the Holocaust, and he had to have first-party insight from a woman and a child who'd survived. So they have their structured research that Kline Preps gives them to research. And I watched him research for an hour, and I'm just biting my nails because he's doing the traditional process of education that has existed since Tom and I went to school, which is almost go to the library, go to the Dewey Decimal System.
It's like telling the kids to read Shakespeare.
And I'm watching
Have
them.
you heard this? They're still teaching Shakespeare
Yeah.
in school. What?
Yeah, and I'm watching it like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, this is driving me crazy. So my wife was sick at the time, so I was like, I had to take my son to eat. So I'm like, hey, can you take a break? He goes, yeah, I need a break. I've been at it for an hour. I was like, okay. I was like, how much you got done? He goes, not a lot. We walk over to the sushi place. I open up Perplexity. I was like, what were you trying to ask? I type it in Perplexity. Within 45 seconds, he had all the research he needed with cited research. Copied it, put it in a text for him. He was able to go back and bust it out. And what I'm saying is we have to re-prepare ourselves and think differently and use these tools to empower us. Not that they're limiters or, I'm not going to use this. These tools are going to change everything about how we interact with the world.
So, Todd, I have a question for our viewers, which is, how do you know which AI to use? For novice like Jay and I, how do we get
That's
enough?
totally part of my question.
Yeah. How do we get enough?
Perplexity,
enough
Claude, Deep Grok, what?
Okay. So look, I would live with 3 for now, just to get started. Perplexity for deep research.
Okay.
Because it'll go out and it can take, if you prompt it right, it can take 20 minutes, it can take hours. And it goes and does all the research for you. So think about hiring an amazing research assistant. Go do all this stuff for me. And I'm like, go. And while that's going, I'm using ChatGPT to say, okay, let's build a prompt format. Ask me the questions you need. I would go in ChatGPT and let's lean in on Jay's podcast. I would say, what questions do you need me to answer first to help me build the best podcast for X? And now it's going to give me the questions.
Right.
Now I'm going to rip through those.
I'm still with you. Yes.
Yep. I'm going to rip through those questions. And then I'm going to give it back and say, okay, now that you have this, is it enough? Or has this spawned other questions? which is a multi-prompt process. Now, by this time, hopefully my Perplexity is done running. And now I have this framework, and I say, okay, cool, now I have the framework. You have all the information you need. Now, I have all this research I want to dump into the same conversation, and now use all of this research that I've now completed. And you could use ChatGPT, or you could go to Claude. Claude seems to be better at writing some things, I think. So most likely I would just put it over in Claude and have Claude write it all.
So,
great to know.
I want to say this. All right, so here's what I want to do. If you'll allow me to book you for a live show on a Tuesday night in June. I've already done a few other shows where I talked AI. You were on one of them. I want to do a show in June on a Tuesday night, and we're going to try to create a new automotive AI media. Well, using AI. So
yeah, and in fact,
we're going to do the best we can.
I will make it even better. We'll not only do that, we'll load it up into Lovable or Bolt.new or Manus, and we'll build a website.
Right, I've heard of Bolt. Yes. So what we're gonna do, what's gonna happen is me and Tom are gonna get more up to speed on some of these AI that you're talking about. Plus, we're gonna actually build a better automotive media than some of the crapola that's currently. I'm tired of it. It's junk.
Yeah. So look, you need two things.
Yeah.
I would say what you consider junk. I would list that out.
Ooh, that'll be easy. I've already got a list going.
Yeah. Well, no,
okay.
I'd say go analyze
analyze
these things.
Yep.
And see if there's any value or not, and say I don't really like these. Now, also highlight
some value.
Also highlight the ones you like.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I really like these.
I actually like some. I actually, I confess.
Look, you're always going to have
not many.
Right.
I like some.
In there, there's a balance. So I have Perplexity go research both, and then come back. And look, in the end, I think what you do is find balance. And me, it's like harmony of the data, right? So the data is going to do all the research for me. I'm going to build the prompts to make some intelligence happen. And now I'm going to level that in to build something. So like I was goofing around here. I think I still have it open. Let me see.
And I'm looking at dates in June. Tuesday night in June. Who's got a constraint?
I'm sure
Tom, I want you there because
we'll
we're a group. Yeah, Tom, you have to be there.
We'll do this offline, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So here is super fun. So today I got inspired by an idea, right?
Okay.
And I built a prompt. Here is my prompt design, and what this is I said I want to make a system. I want to build like the brain for the dealership. So I'm going to have a text go to all employees every day, and it'll be a different text, and it'll say, how was your day, good or bad, what went right, what went wrong, and it'll analyze all the feedback from all your employees in real time. So I said, okay, so I gave the prompt of what I wanted it to do, and it literally built it inside a minute.
Wow.
So if you notice, it's like, who by department, sales, service, parts, BDC, who completed it of 105 of the 130. And this is just an example to show, like I could show this now to developers. Live responses, what was the sentiment of the people? Were they happy, not happy? What are we trending on certain things? What issues are popping up organizationally? We're having customer service challenges. We're having sales target challenges. What are people talking about organizationally? And then I could say, like, well, I'm matching this to the data, seeing service lane efficiency as a problem, or it seems to be a growing concern. And then we can follow any of the individual people's comments of what happened. So I said, like, this is a reminder, and I built a reminder that if they don't reply to the text, it sends them a nudge to say, hey, I haven't heard from you today. What's up? So
Wow.
Now, here's what I'm wondering. Do the people that you're, right, is your data, do they have to manually give it, or is there AI within the data gathering? Like
yeah,
your
so
Limitless,
basically
right?
it's gonna text you a question.
Okay.
Like, how was your day? And you'll say, dude, it was good, bad, whatever it was, right? I had a problem. How many leads did you close today? Or how was your sales pipeline? Or whatever
Can
the
they
question.
say it, or do they have to type
Yeah,
it? Do you
either
know?
or. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can
Oh,
type
cool.
it or
You can
say
say
it.
it. Cool.
Grabs the data, because it's going to convert to text anyway.
Yeah.
Now, all that goes on a sentiment engine, analyzes it, and kicks it back.
Saying it's faster. I like the saying. You're right.
So we thought about a voice. We thought it'd be cool if the dealer owner's voice called all the employees every day as like a check-in. But then we said, okay, that's like
Freaky.
phase 2.
Yeah.
Phase 1 was just, we already have the text piece built. So for us, it's just data capture on the dealer's brain
Oh my.
that it now will start understanding what's going on organizational.
So
Did
so let me just jump in. So Todd, after you've developed this, I'd like you to contact Samuel Jackson to do the voiceover.
Oh, yeah.
So every
That's a
day you're getting
great
text message
idea.
from
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson.
How
Yeah,
are your
like, who do you
sales
want?
today? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, who do you want? Like, Eddie Murphy. Like, take your pick.
Oh my God, that's
Yes.
a great idea.
Yeah.
You just made me think of that crazy AI. The guy was changing his face.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
The guy who's changing.
I was almost gonna share that tonight.
Is that like
That
a
was insane. You haven't seen
Gabriel
this?
thing?
You want?
Yeah, oh, it's real. Yeah. out of
Okay, let
China.
me see it. Let me go ahead and this is crazy. I did a little screen capture because I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share this on my Thursday show. I'm turning off the audio because I don't want YouTube will demonetize me. Okay, what? Right? So we just went from this chick to that dude. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Welcome to AI. Look.
What's
And
the,
now,
and what's
right?
the
Leonardo DiCaprio.
but what's the real? What's the which is real?
I know. What's he really? Now he's Tesla. And now I'm getting mad. I'm burning cars. Oh, I'm okay now. Now I don't know who he is now.
Yeah, there's Elon.
Yeah, he
It's
was Elon.
crazy how you can look. This is allowing what's called all these like
And he
fake-
touches his face, right? So it's
yeah,
like,
fake lovers or like whatever they call it, that thing that's going on where people in Africa are posing as baiting people in the U.S. to send money, do all stuff.
Right.
There was some lady who sent she thought she was talking with Brad Pitt and sent him like $900K over the course of like 6 months for surgeries.
oh my gosh, it's, and we're okay. This is happening, but we're still buying into leadership. Oh my God, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
This when it goes from this chick to that dude, that is a mind-blowing moment. Wow. That is wow.
Think about that. Like, you could get catfished really fast today.
Hey Jay, just remember that next time you're in a bar buying people drinks, okay?
Right?
Jay's going to be like this, touching their face.
Exactly. And that still won't matter.
Yeah.
It's all bots.
Yeah. It is getting a little scary out there. So,
Well, I'm assuming there are many ways to sue a dealer. I'm proud that actually this show, like we have our own bot front for this conversation, because this conversation is not approved. It's NFSW. So, all right, gentlemen, in June.
yep. Let's connect up. We're good.
That's fine.
Let's connect offline. Okay, I'll send you guys an email
Before we
Tuesday
go-
night. Yes.
Before we go,
Yes.
Todd, I'd like your voice recorder AI
Oh yeah.
to summarize tonight's show in how many minutes, Jay? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
Let's do 30 seconds.
Summarize my conversation in how about this? In 20 words.
What's amazing to me is I've seen some incredible summaries on ChatGPT.
Okay, Todd, here's your summary. You discuss AI's impact on the auto industry, global economics, social media, and the future of jobs.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that's it.
Amazing.
Hold on, let me see this. What percentage did Jay talk?
Oh no.
I don't even know if it'll do this. I'm
I
curious.
hate this.
27%.
How often was Jay right? 99.
Discussing, nah, it didn't give it to me.
Oh,
So,
okay.
But I always am curious of the. You know what I mean? Like once you have that data.
Okay, what is Jay's biggest problem with tonight's conversation?
Let's find out. Let's see. It's thinking.
You have to read it just as it is, no matter what it says, Todd.
Yeah, that's fine. Jay's biggest Jay's biggest problem with tonight's conversation as he doesn't see the automotive industry adapting as much as hanging on to old ideas and just applying them to current weeks. He thinks we're in for something crazy.
Okay, I think that's almost a direct quote. That's pretty good. That is amazing.
So,
All right,
and you can go into any little pieces of the conversation if you just wanted like to adapt. Like, I just wanted to see exactly, all our transcript of a piece. Like, dude, you can go into any of your stuff and rip it down. So, it's actually pretty cool.
All right, so our goal, so this is the homework. Our goal in 2 months is to actually create some kind of useful automotive media using AI.
Okay.
That's our goal.
You can totally do that. Yeah.
Okay. Whether it's LinkedIn, it doesn't matter the format. What matters is that we're actually producing a channel better than the average creation today.
Okay.
That's our goal.
I like the goal.
And then I can get on a boat and I can just go ski.
Right, there you go.
That's the goal. Jay's retirement party.
There it is.
Ooh, I'm interested now. This is great.
So,
Todd, I know you're the guy to do it. And Tom, you're there for... What's your role in all this, Tom?
He's the legal oversight.
Legal oversight.
He's going to make sure we don't run amok.
That's actually...
and
necessary, isn't
Yep.
it?
Yeah, think about it. For all dealers,
Yeah.
think about right now, they're signing contracts with AI companies and giving up the true value, and that's the value of their data, to be used to train other people's models. This is going to be, if dealers don't think about it correctly, this is going to be the greatest theft of PII in history.
Okay, how do you protect your... And I did read, actually, on AI Marketing Institute, that ChatGPT will now remember everything prompted, whether you saved it or not.
It can. You have a choice.
Can?
Yes,
Okay.
it can. And then you can go in and delete things. But
It'll still be saved in
yeah, but
ChatGPT.
this is a deeper thing where dealers are signing vendor contracts without monetization rights to training data or the value that could be gained from it. Think
How would
about
you
this.
set that up?
Listen, it's going to have to change. This is what I'm talking about next month when Tom. We're going to be at the National Auto or Dealer Attorneys Conference.
Ooh.
National Association of Dealer Counsel.
Yes. So we'll be at that, and I'm speaking, and it's super interesting to me because the frameworks of contracts today have to be altered to account for AI, and they're not, and that's going to be a huge topic. So that's what we're going to talk about then. But very interesting. Like, I even thought today, is it crazy to feel that dealers could actually start making money on their own data?
I don't think it's crazy at all. I think it's just like everything else. It has to be quantified and harnessed.
I had a conversation. So this is very interesting. So today so one of the banks, they have to wait so the dealer will sell a car and they wait 4 to 8 weeks for it to show up in DMV as registered, titled. And then that's when the bank knows, okay, this is done like contracted. So they would pay the dealer if the dealer would let them know right away, yeah, we just sold this car and contracted it and had an API that could send it to the bank. Bank would probably pay $20 a record. So if you think about that, if you sell 100 cars, that's $2,000 a month, right? But if you think about that's one thing. What happens if you monetize your data and you could make, way more money? What happens if a dealer could pick up an extra $10,000 or $20,000 a month in data income, just monetizing his own data, where right now he's giving it away?
Did you guys put something in the brownies? Because I'm no longer thinking rationally.
But think about it. It's we're right there. All this stuff is like, it is like right. It's like around that corner. It's like right there.
That's neat. You guys are speaking. I can't wait to. Great. I want to hear more about that afterwards on our show in June.
Yeah, it's fine because we're speaking in May.
That's pretty neat.
I forget. First week of May, I think it is, right? So.
That's really, really neat.
Yeah.
That's just the two of you. Anybody else with you?
Todd speaking. I'm attending. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be a learner.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know how they invited me to speak. That's just crazy talk.
Wow, that's neat. Yeah, that's really neat. Wow. Yeah, you're gonna blow people's minds, as usual.
That's my
Gentlemen,
job.
that was amazing. I can't believe that we just did that.
You mean we're not going to start the show about 50 ways to leave?
I know, right? Exactly. I mean, I feel like I don't think anybody still watching or watching later, I don't think will be disappointed that there wasn't a 50 ways to sue the dealer.
Jay,
will they?
You're clickbait, buddy. All you are is you put the clickbait out.
Well, that wasn't my plan. I really wanted to go into, but you know what I'm saying? Do you think anybody will be mad about? All right, I'm gonna actually say this. I don't think anybody in automotive is worried about clickbait because I think so much of it is already clickbait.
Exactly.
Well, anybody who
pretty much say whatever you want.
Anybody who wants to learn about the 50 ways can give me a call and I'll tell them the 50 ways.
There it is.
Tuck the octopus.
That's it.
Yeah.
Get the book.
Get the book.
Get the book, and then, all right, AI. It is. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I'll send you an email because I want to get that locked in soon.
Okay.
Really, we can do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this show. All right, cool.
100%.
This is actually we're gonna make. What does ATI look like next? That's what we're going to do. We're going to create the future of ATI as AI so that I don't have to do this in a couple years. People will be thrilled that it's not me. But we'll use my voice, and that'll really piss them off.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Is a world where...
Elbows up.
Yeah, we should be trying to replace ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, my goal this year was to
Yes.
10x myself.
Duplicate. Yeah, 10x.
I wanted to use tech to 10x my capability. That's whether it's writing, whether it's being a better manager, leader at my company, be a better marketer, be a better sales guy and remember things because I forget things, all those things, be better at digesting meetings, all that stuff. So I feel to me, it's like building that tech stack, our personal tech stack first. And when you build the personal tech stack, then
Maybe
you apply it to a business.
Wait, is that where we're all headed? Personal tech stack?
Oh, yeah.
Todd, that's a great LinkedIn post there.
Yeah.
Personal
How to
tech
build
stack.
your own personal tech stack.
I like that. Okay. I'll do that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you tag me.
I will. That'll be.
Yeah, I wanna get tagged.
Okay. I'll write that one. I'll just write what I do. So it's pretty easy. So.
Dude, that is amazing. Okay.
All right,
gentlemen. Wow. 2 hours. Thank you so much for all of your time. That was amazing.
Thank you.
See you in June. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Waiting room coming.
Have your AI bot call my AI bot,
Yeah.
and we'll make it a date.
Yeah. It'll be an AI hangout.
Okay.
All right, guys. Here we go. Waiting room coming. Waiting room coming. All right, man. Wow. There's still people here? That's crazy. I had a hiccup on the LinkedIn, and I guess I put in the wrong date. You know, this is weird. I put in the wrong date on the LinkedIn stream, and then I couldn't ever get it to reconnect. Weird. The LinkedIn, I don't know. It's because I'm using Restream and AI, whatever. We're on YouTube, but I think there's some people that would have enjoyed. I think there's some people on LinkedIn that would have enjoyed tonight's show. And as I say that, I don't know. I think they would have been pissed too. You know, actually, I love. Not only did I think that tonight's conversation was really good, but I love that we're coming up with a plan to replace me in the future. That way ATI can go on and I don't need to bang my head against the wall anymore. I know there's a lot of people that are tired of me doing this show, and I'm kind of tired of it, and the automotive industry is just, oh my God. I can't believe what I see the automotive industry pretending this business to be. I can't believe it. I really started this channel. I got to change my intro video too on the. And we can take this off too. We don't need that. I created ATI and I saw the thing. Hey Ahmad, I saw the post earlier. The question. Hey, I'm a dispatcher thinking about starting car hauling. Can you guide me? My goal in creating this channel was to actually help educate different verticals on how to work together. Nobody wants that. Automotive does not have any interest in verticals working. If they talk about it, it is to sell something. People don't care. They don't care. They don't. So, in order to maintain my sanity, if I can get AI to 10x and build my personal tech stack and continue with this channel, that's a win-win. That's a win-win. So I'm going to work on that, actually. That actually solves, because I've been trying to figure out how am I going to continue. I've built this brand with this idea that's not happening. And, but it seemed to be, yeah, but like guys like Ahmad, there will always be somebody else finding this channel that believes in the original intention. It's just that none of the current big businesses believe in this intention. So what do I do? Personal tech stack. Have AI, you know, that way we can have Titanic 10 with AI, you know, whoever's. It's a great idea. So I'm serious about that show. We're going to do that in June. Thursday, we're going to do, this is another weird show. We're going to do, international broker support. And I'm going to have Arail from Pakistan on the show. I think that's going to happen. Next month, we're going to talk about, pricing changes, cover fleet with Rocky. But in June on ATI on Tuesday night, and I'm only going live. So the new rule is I'm going to go live Tuesday nights, twice a month, max. Industry logistics, twice a month, max. But it's not every other week. It could be every 2 weeks. I don't know. Until we get the AI sorted out, we're just going to do that for a while. But hey, man, thanks for tuning in. That was cool. That was a really interesting conversation. And I want this channel. Man, I want this channel to be about automotive. I want to help spread around the automotive information. I just don't know how many people really care anymore. I don't think they do. They don't. Not from what I can see. So we're just going to talk about AI and other business. We're still going to talk automotive. We're not doing the avocado show. This isn't a baking show. And we're definitely not selling leadership. That is silly. My God. But we are going to talk about automotive, AI, and smart people in automotive. Something like that. Anyways, that's what we're going to do. Here comes a car hauler. Thanks for tuning in. Really good show. Please give a comment or a like or a share or, whatever you got. Here comes a car hauler. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark. Peace, brother. Later.